Hello, everybody. Greetings, friends. This is Pat at Dancing Moon Travel, and we're continuing on with our Hawaii theme for the month of June. And tonight we will be exploring the incredible Hawaiian island of Kauai. We're delighted to welcome back Carlos Banks from our favorite Hawaii partner, Pleasant Holidays. Carlos has been with us. This is for the fourth week, just sharing. And we have had Carlos back because Pleasant Holidays is our preferred partner when we plan our clients' trips to Hawaii. They have the best packages, bar none. And that's why we work with Pleasant Holidays and have invited them to do so much of this focus on Hawaii alongside us this month. So Carlos, before we really dive in here, as our resident trivia expert, do you have anything in your phenomenal collection of trivia about little known facts about Hawaii that you want to share?
Well, Kauai, we have the wettest place on earth is in Kauai. That's one of
Really?
don't have as many as I have in other places, but the only you could say the word for me, Pat.
Navigable, I think is the
Yeah,
word.
thank you. Only the rivers that you can navigate on. The only ones in Hawaii are all in Kauai.
That is very interesting, Carlos. And I'm going to be very honest. I mean, I'm always honest with y'all, but I'm going to be very honest this evening that I'm not actually totally familiar with the island of Kauai. I don't book it with great, it's just not one of the destinations that our clients call for as often. So quite honestly, my biggest familiarity with this destination has been booking people who are traveling by the cruise ship around the islands. Has been booking excursions. So I'm going to be in learning mode this evening as Carlos shares with us some of the facts about Kauai.
I'm gonna say this one here is nature lovers and honeymooners. This is the quietest of all the Hawaiian islands of the main. I'm talking about the main four: Oahu with Waikiki, Maui, the Big Island, and then this is the quietest. I mean, come 6 o'clock, the place is closed down, but it's the prettiest, I would say, of all the islands, and so it's really incredible. Something like about 70% of the island is are parks. So
Wow.
75%. So it's quite a bit of it is parks. Now there are some false rumors about Kauai too.
Okay.
For years, people thought Peter, Paul, and Mary's song "Puff the Magic Dragon" was based on in Kauai. That was only by coincidence. That was never true. But that rumor was going on for years about that one. It's a fun one to have. In fact, for a while there in Wailea, Wailea, whatever the song name in the song, there was a dragon on the beach that they put in.
Oh gosh.
Yeah,
So yeah,
so
Puff the Magic Dragon. I remember that song so well.
that
We
was up
maybe
near
have
it was up near Princeville, is where supposedly people thought that came from, but that was by coincidence only. But if you believed it, it happened. So, but that's one of those false rumors that have gone around for years. So
we may have listeners who don't even know who Peter, Paul, and Mary are at this point, but most of us of a certain genre, we know very well. We grew up with them.
Yeah. So and Kauai is the fourth largest island, and Kauai was born where the Big Island is today, and over the millions of years, and we'll get into that as we go on. Well, why don't we get started? And
take it away.
Yeah. And for those who don't know me, I'm Carlos Banks. I've been in the business for umpteen years. I helped create Cancun before even Cancun had a hotel opened. when I was in college. I have my degree in travel tourism management, and I've been awarded many awards around the world in a sense for what I've done in the travel tourism business. So legally, my name is the Honorable Carlos Banks. Never really use it, but that's some of the awards I have received. My last job, I helped put an astronaut to the International Space Station from Malaysia.
That
So
is
I've been with
amazing.
Pleasant for 13 years and really enjoyed it.
Now,
And
Carlos, that really is the ultimate in tourism. I
oh yeah,
guess he puts somebody on the
yeah,
space station. That's quite an achievement.
oh yeah,
Continue.
yeah. So I've done everything in my life. I've been with so many presidents and kings and so on. It's too many to count. Uh, so, but Hawaii, where it's a special place too. Well, Pleasant Holidays, we're found all over the world. Basically, we're the biggest company in Hawaii, but we're also the biggest company in the world to Tahiti. So no one comes close to us in Tahiti. So during the pandemic, we won an award voted on by the travel agents as being the FIT tour operator, that's individual travel, tour operator providing the best travel advisor support during the pandemic, basically. And
And Carlos, I have to say again, kudos to you guys for that. That is huge when the agent community has given you that, because we had some big name providers who really just weren't there for us and our clients during that time, or that we're still dealing with some of it. But thank you guys for being there. I mean, it was service to the agents and ultimately to our clients. And that is a huge award. Continue on.
and I can't put all the awards on here, like the best of Mexico and the best of the South Pacific and so on down the line. But since we're in Hawaii, we've won the Travel Weekly Award for 17 consecutive years in a row, and the Travel Age West Award 15 consecutive years in a row. So that's unheard of. Travel Weekly has said that no one has ever won that many consecutive years ever for any category except us. In Hawaii, like I said, we're the biggest company in the world to Hawaii, and things are changing for the positive. And wait 15 minutes, and hopefully it's going to change even more for the positive. But there are challenges if you want to go this year. There really are challenges. Right now, the rules have changed effective this week. So no longer do you need a COVID test to go island hopping. You still need a COVID test to get into Hawaii. But once you're in Hawaii, you can now go island hopping with no problem. If you've been listening to me the last couple of weeks, I would have to say, well, you had to go to Maui first and then Oahu if you wanted to avoid additional tests or whatever. Make Oahu the last. Now, and you had to do special, you got to jump through hoops to get into Kauai. All those are gone. All you need now is a test to get into Hawaii, and then you can run around all the Hawaiian Islands with no additional hassle. And you get back to mainland United States with no COVID testing either.
That is huge. And Carlos, we are expecting hopefully later this summer that if things continue on their present course, that we may see no testing required at some point
Yeah.
down the line, maybe this
The
fall.
next step, if I was a betting man, which I'm lousy at betting, late July or August, I think we might be, if you have a proof of COVID shots, no tests coming in. And later on down the line, maybe October or so, we have no testing at all. Just like, there's nothing at all. And
so it's coming, folks. Hang in there.
Yeah, but at the same time, check with Pat to find out what's going on, because the news changes like water. And so what's today is, I mean, when Pat and I were started doing this a couple of weeks ago, we did not know that June 15th they were changing the rules on us, right, Pat?
That's that's right. It is a real challenge. I mean, when you're looking at all of the different destinations that we handle, but it's all literally right now, everything, all the destinations and Hawaii included are all moving in a generally positive direction at a quicker pace probably than we would have anticipated. So
And if
goodness.
you really want to travel realistically, and I'm not trying to be political or anything, get your shots. If you can't get into most of Europe without shots in the future, you can't get into some of the Caribbean islands without shots. You can't go on a cruise without shots in almost every case. I mean, I'm not going to be political in the sense of what the governor is doing in Texas or Florida, because of what everybody I have spoken to in the industry, federal law supersedes the state law, and federal law says you have to have a 95% of the passengers with a COVID shot. So I have a feeling the states are going to lose out on that rule there that they're trying to do.
Yeah.
So
Just stay tuned, folks. As soon as we have
yeah,
more information on all of
but
this.
things are going to, things are changing, and for the better, because tourism is way up. Now, I'm going to tell you the good, the bad, and the ugly about Hawaii today. There are no rental cars. If you want to go this summer, forget it about trying to get a rental car. Kauai, Maui, and Big Island, a rental car is a must. So next availability is in September. Christmas is very limited right now. If you want to go to a luau right now, ain't gonna happen, generally speaking, until September. Many, if not most, activities are already sold out through September. So I'm not kidding. The vehicle of choice right now is a U-Haul, because that might be the only thing that that has wheels on it that someone can rent. I mean, that
is amazing, but it really is true for a lot of different reasons. And one of them is Hawaii has been incredibly popular right now. It's a domestic getaway, and so people are booking it like crazy, and they sold off the biggest part of these
40% of the fleet was sold off.
Yeah, so they don't have the vehicles, and it takes them a while to build that back up now that things are reopening. It's not instant. So Maui, the Big Island, it's a challenge right now getting if you want a rental car. So
even in the mainland United States too. I mean, it's and the car companies can't go out and buy a new car because there's a whole bunch of cars out there that have no chips on them. So you might literally get a 2022 car that was really made in 2020. It just didn't have a chip on it.
Gosh,
that's how crazy. So the circuit boards are missing out of cars, and until those can be made, the car companies can't even buy cars. In the Fort Lauderdale area where I'm at, some dealerships have no cars to sell because they're completely wiped out.
It's crazy. I see a couple of empty lots here in Southwest Florida, but we digress.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So in Hawaii, we have block space at 5 hotels. Now, every one of these is a great savings compared to even Expedia or whatever. So you should always go through a travel agent anyway. I say I'm here in Fort Lauderdale. I would say almost 80% of the time on the action line on the travel section, it's someone trying to do something online. If you go to the travel agent, they're there to protect you. But the Aston Waikiki Beach in Oahu, that is across the street from the beach. It's a beachfront hotel. If you buy a partial ocean view, we will upgrade you to a full ocean view, no extra charge. The other 4 hotels, the Moana Surfrider in Waikiki, one of the grand dams of the old hotels in Hawaii, the Wailea Beach in Maui, and also the Sheraton Maui. as well as the Sheraton in Kona. We do not have one in Kauai. We had one. We gave it up to do the COVID bubbling before, and now we have not got the contract renewed as a block space. But we should have one again in 2022.
I'm sure it's in negotiation, knowing you guys.
But the other 4 hotels, we have you breakfast every day, included or a food and beverage credit to help pay for the breakfast. And they all have a discount at the spa, and they all have, and some of them even have additional discounts, like kids under 17 stay free, or 3rd and 4th stay free. And the big discounts, I mean, at the Wailea Beach, as an example, on average, over $500 savings compared to an online, like Expedia or something like that.
That's huge.
So it's huge savings. So check with Pat about getting the best deals to Hawaii. And the best part about those 5 hotels, if the hotel sold out, they can't sell our rooms. We own them.
That's amazing.
When things are up and running, and most of the concierge desks are not open yet, I just found out, but because of the social distancing rules in Hawaii, not everything's 100% or even close to it. But when they are open, we had 40 desks. We're going to probably have about 70 desks. Most of the activities should be bought in advance. If you want the best luau's, and you get to Hawaii, you're not going to get the best luau's in most cases. They're already sold out 4 to 6 months in advance. So, check with Pat about getting your activities done before you go. In most cases, you can cancel those activities and get your money back if you don't want to do the activity then. As long as you do it, all depends on the activity, usually 24 or 48 hours in advance. But we can help you with making tea times and getting spa times and all sorts of things for you. And again, and there's a lot of golfing throughout Hawaii, of course, and spas. And then the luau's. Now, I personally do not know the luau's in Kauai. I know all the other island luau's. I personally do not know the luau's in Kauai, so I'll be upfront too and truthful. But the best ones, I think, is the Olahaina in Maui.
I always try to book our clients luau's when they're doing multiple islands in Maui. I think they have the best of the best.
Yeah. And of course, when you get a lei, if a hotel gives you a lei, which sometimes they might, as a respect, I wear the same lei as I'm leaving the hotel. It might be a little wilted or whatever, but it's a respect. Thank you very much for what you've done.
It's a cultural nicety when you do something like that. You honor them.
And so the Hawaiian Islands are all over the place. So Kauai was born where the big island is today. And over the millions of years, it has pushed all the way over. Of all the main islands, that's the oldest Hawaiian island. And we're going to be talking about Nikki Howe, which is right next to it too. We can't go.
Quick, just a procedural question, Carlos. What do you think if we have clients who are doing multiple islands? Where in the itinerary would you? How would you order the islands? Do you think? What would be your preference as far as they're doing Oahu and Maui?
Under normal conditions, and I was suggesting things in my past ones of this circuit, I was saying do Oahu last. Under normal conditions, I would do Oahu first, and that's not a whole bunch of time there. You want to get to Pearl Harbor. You want to get maybe some of the museums, the best museums tells you about the Hawaiian culture and everything is based there. You can go to the only royal house that we had in the United States was here, because we did have king and queens and the like here in Hawaii. And in fact, their house had electricity before the White House did. And they were the first palace in the world to have a flushing toilets. So That's in Oahu. I would do that first and then do any of the other islands.
Okay.
Again,
I usually do that. I usually bring my clients into Hawaii who 3 nights may be there to get in a circle tour and so forth and the war
and
memorials and
then you
things.
want to
And
relax because Oahu is very bustling, and it's not a relaxing area.
yeah,
And so, and the temperature is great year round. Now, you will hear about a winter storm watch a couple times a year in Hawaii. Don't freak out. It's still over 80 degrees on the beach. A couple of our mountains do get snow on it. In fact, one has guaranteed snow every year on the Big Island. Two of them do have guaranteed snow on the Big Island. But even in Maui, you can get snow in the mountains.
yeah. It's all about the elevation. You're down
All
there by the
elevation.
ocean side. You're fine.
Yeah, it's 80 degrees down at the ocean, so don't worry about that. So we're in Kauai, and most of the Kauai basically is on the East Coast. So Princeville, all the way down to the airport and a little bit past it. That's Kauai. There's no way physically to even try to drive around the entire island or anything. It just has very high sea cliffs and the like. And Mount Waialeo is the wettest spot on Earth.
Wow.
That's up to, on average, 460 inches of rain a year. They've had up to 510 inches of rain.
Amazing.
Yeah. So lots of rain up in the mountains, but not down in where you're at. So it all depends on where you're going to from the airport. Drive times are from 30 to 60 minutes drive time if you're going south or if you're going north. And then again, I told you this is great for adventure people, but also honeymooners. And and you know, the elderly people like it because there's a lot of things, a lot of history here of their old movies are filmed here. So that's kind of a neat. And the nightlife, this is the quietest of all the main islands. So the plane, this is where Fantasy Island was filmed, as well as Falls. And so this is one of the things that were filmed here, along with a number of other things. Gilligan's Island, for example. Here at the grotto. This is Elvis Presley, Blue Hawaii.
Oh, yes.
Some of the other ones. Outbreak with Dustin Hoffman was filmed here. And I say that because the house for Dustin Hoffman, or for the movie Outbreak, was in my house as a kid in Pasadena, California. Was in that movie too. So you can go inside my old house as a kid. So when at the beginning of the movie, Dustin is washing his dogs and everything, and then taking the dogs to his ex-wife's house, same house. That's filmed in Pasadena.
That's some fun trivia.
Yeah. And again, that was South Pacific was filmed here. Jurassic Park, a lot of different, there's over 60 movies or TV shows filmed here.
Well, let's face it, there's not in the USA that many areas that has this great wilderness, this tropical wilderness with these expanses that Kauai offers.
It's really known as the Garden Isle, realistically. And there's a lot of different things that's all virtually based on nature here.
So if you want to see natural Hawaii, Kauai is a great place. Of course, in Big Island also, it's hard to differentiate, but this is a great destination if you just really want to get away and end your vacation maybe with 3 or 4 nights of just peace and quiet, tranquility, and natural beauty.
Yeah. And I looked at for Kauai's birth certificate, it's over 6 million years old.
Oh, my word.
So lots of activities here, like I said, from zip lining all the way down to my speed, going down the old irrigation canals. And if you notice the guy on going down the little waterfall, that's about the deepest waterfall you're going to get. So it's nothing really earth shattering.
I would love that excursion. That
Yeah.
is that is right up my alley. We love
Part
that.
of it is under caves. So if you notice, the guy has a helmet on with a light on. So part of that, you go underground too.
Oh,
So
how
it's
cool.
my speed.
I
And
could do that all day long. Yes.
then you go into a lot of the different areas. This is on the south shore part of the island. They have these little towns all over on the western side of Kauai. But again, very quiet. Again, this is the Kauai north towards the what do you call it? This is the north. So this is outside of, and this is the town which just has the town of Puff the Magic Dragon.
Yeah.
The
Honolulu.
Honolulu. So that was the town for Puff the Magic Dragon, and they have some very high sea cliffs here. Now this is a great spot to go see by helicopter tours. So here and in the Big Island, to me, a highlight would be helicopter tours. And
Waimea Canyon.
this is the Grand Canyon of the Pacific. And if I took the words at the bottom off, you'd swear you were at the Grand Canyon. It's incredible. So I mean, there's a lot of this different diversity of nature here. A lot of the beaches here, though, do have undertow, so you got to watch out. Expect on the so the undertow is less on the west side, basically, but the problem is most of the time you can't get to the west side. You have to get a boat to get on to some of these beaches or take a long hike trail. So that's one of the downfalls. So watch yourself in the beaches here because of the undertow situation.
Yeah, and they can really be I mean, they can take you out before you even know what hit you. So
yeah, unfortunately, I see that here in Fort Lauderdale area quite often. In Florida, bad situation. People come down here, don't understand or don't know anything about undertow. You do not fight it. You swim parallel to the coast. Yeah. And literally after about 20 or 30 yards away, then you're going to find no undertow, and then you can swim back in to the beach with no problem. Just don't go in that area where the undertow was at. Otherwise, you'll go back out again.
Yeah, they're usually very narrow, those riptide currents.
Yeah, they're very narrow. And with that, I want to say thank you. But before we leave, I'd like to have a little bit of fun. Remember that island, Nikki Howe? This is, I would say, the only place that the white man has kept the promise to the local indigenous people. So this was purchased by by Elizabeth Sinclair from the king with a promise of keeping the Hawaiian culture. And to this day, first of all, you can't get on the island unless you're an invited guest of one of the people. So on average, less than 200 people a year get onto Nikki Howe. There is a military installation here, but no military people. So they come in and check out the equipment and stuff, but they have trained all the islanders to act as not military people, but as the eyes. And during the war, a Japanese plane did land here from the original Pearl Harbor situation, because the plane had was falling, had engine problems. And then during the war, they literally tore up the runway so that way no Japanese plane can land on their island.
Wow.
But it was the so Elizabeth Sinclair, they had she had 6 kids, if I remember correctly, and one of them was Helen Sinclair. She's the one who inherited the island, who married Charles Robinson, and to this day it belongs to the Robinson family. There are 2 kids still alive, Keith and Bruce, who are the owners of it and of the entire island. And the
Wow.
population has about 260 people. They have their own mindset on how they do things. And again, they teach the indigenous language up to about 4th or 5th grade, and Hawaiian and English from about 6th grade on through high school.
So English is a second or third language for that particular island.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And so they have kept it as that. Now it does have droughts quite often. So the Sinclair or the Robinson family also own part of Kauai. So sometimes many people on the island will vacate the island and go over to Kauai to grow, because they can't grow enough crops or anything to sustain themselves on that island because of they have droughts and the like. So
you're just a fountain of little known information.
And
Carlos,
the last part of Hawaii is the northwestern Hawaiian Islands. Now this is from Kauai all the way past Midway. Midway is not part of the Hawaiian island chain. That's a different island. Yeah. But that atoll goes all the way over, and this area is 139,000 square miles. Wow. And this is and you need permission to go get on any of these islands now. George Bush made it a national monument back in 2006. Now, according to the Hawaiian Constitution, if you were with me on the first one, Honolulu is the biggest city in the world. All of the northwestern island is considered part of Honolulu. So Honolulu is the biggest city in the world by area.
Wow.
So if you took California and moved it sideways, that's about the size of Honolulu.
Wow. So a city basically the size of a state as big as, that's amazing. Carlos, you just amazed me with all of the little known facts that you've given us during your presentations. Thank you so much.
And Pat, I want to say thank you. And don't forget, I always use a travel agent. They are when the chips are down, they're the only things that can save you. Don't depend on anything else. They will get you out of more jams than you can think of. Travel agents are worth more than their weight in gold.
Well, thank you so much, Carlos. And we try. We really do. We put our clients in always in first place, and our policy is to always do the right thing for the client. So, Carlos, thank you again. I so appreciate all of the time you've taken to educate our clients and me to some extent, actually.
And I would say anybody traveling any place for the next 2 years, you have to do so like a pioneer. You have to be flexible, because while things are planned and everything, the local governments change things. Right now, the airlines are changing schedules like water. This last weekend, we got over 3,600 schedule changes in Saturday and Sunday.
And you've got to keep up with all of that and get those changes out to your clients. So
it's insane.
It's monumental.
Pilots, there's not enough car rentals. There's not enough this. It's going to take a couple years to weed itself out. So I don't think in 2021 and 2022, tourism is going to be normal. It's going to be, you have to be understanding and be flexible.
Yeah. And just plan on using a travel agent, folks, because we do not want to deter you from traveling. It just might take a little bit more arranging. Keep a flexible mindset
Yeah,
and go prepared to just have a great time, and you will.
you
That's the
will.
way it works usually.
It's the way you want things to happen. And if things don't work out, you can always laugh it on. That may you have another story to tell your grandkids or something like that.
And
And I
don't,
got a bunch of
yeah,
stories to tell my grandkids.
don't sweat the minutia. You know, if something small doesn't happen as you expect, you know, just go on and go to the next thing and make, you know, uh, just that's just the key to everything, and travel and life in general right now, just living life at home is basically
You
just
never
go
know
with the
what's going to happen.
flow. Yeah.
As an example, as a kid, I was traveling around South America. I ran into the first lady of Bolivia.
Wow.
She invited me to her husband's birthday party that night.
My word.
Here I was with the president of Bolivia and at his private residence. And then he took a liking to me and asked me to come to the totally unplanned. I didn't have any suits or anything. I mean, I wasn't backpacking, but I was doing a 45-day tour around South America on my own as a kid, took all my paper route money. So you never know what's going to happen on a trip. Just go with the flow, enjoy it. Sometimes something's going to happen that least expected, like, oh my God, I got to do that. I mean,
Yeah.
until I brought the pictures home, my mom and dad didn't believe me at all.
It's amazing.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
amazing. Well, thank you, Carlos. Thank you so much. We appreciate 4 weeks. I've never had never had a provider that we've brought on board for 4 weeks. It has been amazing. You have educated and entertained, and we so thank you. And we'll have you on again. We'll be making plans down the line because we do this every week. So stay tuned. We'll see Carlos again.
Well, thank you
So,
very much, Pat, for this. I mean, it's been a great honor. It's been a lot of fun. And I have lots of more trivia all over the world.
all right. We'll count
Yeah,
on that. Thanks again.
yeah. So, remember in Hawaii, we have the tallest mountain in the world, the biggest city in the world, the only place that grows vanilla. Uh, Questionable about the only place that grows coffee on a commercial basis because California cheats a little bit on that one. So I mean, there's I'm not saying the only place in the world. I mean, the only place in the United States for coffee and vanilla is Hawaii. So there's a lot of things you can do in Hawaii, and there's a lot of trivia, and there's a lot of other places in the world who have more trivia. So take care, and looking forward to seeing all of you in the future, wherever we go to. Maybe.
Oh, yeah. And word of the day, we want to just say pleasant Kauai. Kauai.
I will help them out right here.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. I said it right. Kauai. I was right. I was like sweating that. So pleasant Kauai. Get yourself in the drawing. This is Pat at Dancing Moon Travel wishing you a great week. Thank you again, Carl.
Aloha.